My name is Daniel.
And my name is Andreas.
And we are Plant Puppies.
And welcome to our home here in Oslo, Norway.
AKA Plant Puppies Studio.
Today we are going to be talking about the 5 best plants for plant beginners. We started our Instagram about a year ago.
During the first lockdown here in Norway.
Since then it has just sort of exploded. And we are just really amazed of how many incredible, beautiful people we've met on Plant Instagram. So we met 4 years ago on Tinder.
There's hope.
And got married last year. And over the years we have both grown to love plants and have filled our lives with plants.
When I first met Andreas, I only had one plant, a peace lily. I could see that caring for our plants gave him so much joy. And well, I was really in love, so I would buy him a lot of plants. And I think that's where our collection really started to grow.
Yeah. Some would say we have too many plants.
Yeah, on Instagram. You actually have too many plants.
But we don't really agree with that.
And we hope that after watching this video, you also feel inspired to begin your plant journey. So the first plant we're going to talk about today is the Monstera deliciosa.
This is a favorite of so many people because of its beautiful leaves and that it's really easy to keep happy.
This plant is actually a baby Monstera, and if you want your leaves to grow bigger, you can give it something to climb on, as the Monstera is a climber.
And then over time it will grow these holes or fenestrations. That is the sign of a more mature plant. This plant likes a good soak of water once the top 2 inches are dry. And it also really likes bright indirect light. It will tolerate a couple of hours of direct sunlight, but if your window has more than that, just move it a bit back into the room and it'll be super happy there.
And if you want your Monstera to be extra happy, you can take it into the shower from time to time. This will remove dirt from the leaves and make it easier for the plant to absorb light. So the next plant we're going to talk about today is the Paella. And the Paella has a lot of different names. Some people call it the Chinese money plant because the leaves looks like money. And in the Netherlands, they actually call it the pancake plant because
it looks like pancakes. So the biggest problems with the Paella is actually overwatering because people forget that it's a succulent. So they are much more tolerant to drought than we think. Here's a little tip. The next time you water them, feel the leaves after you water them. They become like plump and thicker. And then when it's dry and really needs water, they become thinner. So you can actually feel the leaves when it's time to water. And these guys also really like bright indirect light. The third plant we are talking about today is the Sansevieria or snake plant. And this is actually my favorite because there are so many incredible variations of this plant.
In Norwegian, we actually call this plant svigermors tunge. How would you translate that?
I guess it would translate to something like mother-in-law's tongue because of its pointy and sharp edges. Our rule of thumb with this plant is to give it well-draining soil and then just kind of forget about them because they're the happiest when left alone. And then water whenever we remember. It's approximately once a month.
I think the biggest misconception about svigermors tunge, or the Sansevieria, is that it doesn't need any light at all. It can tolerate low light, but it will thrive in indirect sunlight. The next plant we're going to talk about today is, drumroll please,
yes,
the spider plant.
Another favorite of ours.
Yes, it's so easy to curve.
Yeah, it really is.
Similar to the Paella, the spider plant like indirect sunlight and to dry out in between waterings.
Yes. And the really great thing about the spider plant is that it actually cleans the air in your home for you. So in a study done by NASA, they actually found that the spider plant was the most effective at cleaning toxins from our air.
The good thing about the spider plant is that it's a really good plant for people with pets because it's non-toxic. Last but not least, the golden pothos.
Yes.
And this guy is actually one of my favorite plants. It thrives on being neglected and can be both a climbing and a trailing plant. If you want your leaves to become bigger, you should give it some support or something to climb on.
And the really amazing thing about these plants is that they can become really, really long, like the one we have in our kitchen. And similarly to the Monstera, this guy really enjoys being brought into the shower and give it a proper wash. It can tolerate lower levels of light and should absolutely not be in direct sunlight. So those were our 5 best plants for plant beginners. If you're a new plant parent, why don't you try one of these out and see how it goes?
And thank you so much for joining us here in the Plant Puppies studio. Let us know in the comment section what kind of plant content you want to see next.
Bye!
Bye bye!